Hi, we're here on the podcast and I'm sitting with Jacinta. Hi, Jacinta. How are you?
I'm good.
Perfect. We are going to hear about your expertise today, and I'm going to jump right in with a question about what does better for you food mean to you today, right now?
By the way, thank you for having me here.
Of course.
Happy to be here. So better for you food, this is what it means today. It's more a food item that will give you the benefits that you need to thrive as a person. So it's a product that doesn't have ingredients that would harm you in any way. So this are product, and this became really a huge deal after COVID, because post-COVID now everybody is looking for items that will help them with their health, that will help them with their mental health, that would support the growth that they need. If they need bigger muscles, it's something that it's going to give them. If they need an item that will boost their immune system, they can get it. A drink that will help them to focus more. Something that is going to a food item that is going to support your well-being in general.
Great.
So nothing out of the ordinary. All the ingredients that your grandmother can pronounce.
Yeah, amazing.
So that's the better for you food item.
Wow, I love that. I feel like that should be the standard of food, but I like it. I like that we're going there, right?
Right.
I appreciate that. So thank you for explaining that in such a easy way for me to take away. So as someone who is creating products like this, what's the first step, do you think, for maybe some early founders in getting a recipe into a retail good, being able to sell it at a retail level? So you just have an idea of a recipe, or you've made this once. What's the first step to getting it?
Okay, so I have worked in the food industry for like over 12 years, and I've developed products myself.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've developed this framework that helps anybody that is making products to succeed and to get it to retail, like you said. So it's an ETS framework. And you're starting with evaluating your product. So you evaluate your product all the way from research. So let's say you have an idea of a product and you want to take this product to market. So you research it first. Like, yes, you could like it, you could love it, and your family members even enjoy the product. But does the market want it? So that's a question that you can ask yourself. And it's easy nowadays because you can do it online. There are so many founders that are selling products online. You can start it that way. Like, I think Midday Squares, if you know Midday Squares, that's where they started. They started selling their products online because they tried different retail stores and nobody really wanted. It was like, what is that? So they started online. So that was a way of them to market test the product. And that's the research itself. So that's the E, you evaluate the product. Research is very big. So you can do it online. You can do it at a farmer's market, for example, or like trade shows. Farmer's market is like the beginning. And there's a lot of now better for you products that started at the farmer's market, and they still go there just to research it. But that's where you would start.
Okay, good.
Then once you get people really want the product, now you move on to testing the product. So now you will test the product and improve it in any way. So in this case now, you're looking for increasing capacity because let's say you started at a farmer's market and people like it there, but now you want to increase capacity. So you have to take it to a commercial kitchen. Usually those are small. You're scaling it. You're starting it there. And then now you can take it to like a manufacturing facility. So this is where like founders would work with co-packers, co-manufacturers. And you test your product, the raw materials, the ingredients. So I mean like the ingredients that go into your product. But in that case, when I say improving, part of it is you find out, okay, are your ingredients, do they support the kind of profit you want to be able to hit? Like the margins in this case, yes. Like you want to hit a good margin because especially in the food industry, it's one of those, and I'm discovering this more with like food founders where you start with like a lower margin and you think you're okay. But then once you start going retail, the distributor is going to take something. The retailer is going to take something. And then in the end, it's so slim for you. And over the years, as you go, it's just how things go. Raw materials will keep getting more expensive and more expensive. So that's where you do all the testing and you try it out and improve it.
Mm-hmm.
and then now you can scale.
Yeah.
So that's the way to go.
Perfect. No, thank you. That's honestly, that's great advice for, I think, any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Value test first, figure out whether the market wants it. It could be the best product ever, but if nobody wants it, then is it, right?
Exactly.
I love that. You mentioned co-manufacturers, and I'm wondering you sort of mentioned at what point, but when should a brand use one? And what sort of initiates that process of a co-manufacturer?
It does depend with like the kind of product the founder is having.
Mm-hmm.
There's two different ways. If let's say you're making a snack item
Mm-hmm.
or like a cookie, for example, those ones you can tend to have like the commercial kitchens that can do that. They are set up to do that. So you can start small and then you scale. But for beverage, for example, if you're like bottling a beverage, you have to go straight to a co-manufacturer.
Right.
You have to go looking for a co-manufacturer right away as soon as you know your product is tested and it has the capacity to grow. You have to go right away to
the machinery. Perhaps?
Exactly. The machinery, because those manufacturers, they do have the machinery. And the other thing is they can help you to scale the product in the sense that you want. But there's also the aspect of you really have to know what you want your product to look like and to stand for. Because if you go to a co-manufacturer and you're not really certain of what you want to do, they can tend to steer you in a direction that you probably don't want your product to go. So you have to be grounded in what you want.
Yeah.
But that's where once you test and you know exactly what your customer wants, you know where to go, right? You know the direction that you want to go. So it really does depend like where you can work. But most of the time, the general is you start small and then you're able to scale. But in some products like beverage,
you have to.
You have to go right away.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. How things like the cheapest way to test, I'm going to bring it back a little bit, like the cheapest way to test your recipe before you get to that co-manufacturer. And I'm going to throw in maybe the shelf life as part of that testing. How can maybe you see that the shelf life needs to be improved.
Right.
How can you do that in a good way, with a better for you way? Because I feel like maybe some of the preservatives are the things we can't pronounce.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
So my thought on that is this is where you bring in a professional like myself, a food scientist, to help you. Because in some ways, if you don't, then you will tend to suffer in the end. Like I've worked in a manufacturing facility where I was the food scientist that a food founder would bring their products.
Okay.
And the thing was, like, some of those food founders, we didn't take their product, not because their product was not great or the product was actually exciting. It was great. This is a product that I wanted to work with, but it wasn't ready. And part of the readiness is the shelf life.
Yep.
Because you can bring a product that if it does have like a higher water activity, and there's a lot of moisture to support microbial growth, we will not be able to take it. And the thing is, yes, we can work on the R&D for you, especially if you're now going to a co-manufacturing.
Yeah.
We can work, but this is R&D time. And if you didn't plan for the R&D time, which can be hefty, that's it. And the thing is, they only have such a short time. But if you work with a consultant to help your product to get ready before you go, then you have a higher chance of your product succeeding because they've done the work for you and the product is ready to go. And you know what? The first thing that a retailer is going to ask you is, what's the shelf life of your product?
Right.
If you don't know, then what's going to happen?
Because that's the risk to them.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, the longer it can stay on the shelf life, the more money they can make, and yourself as well as a founder.
Yeah. They
the
can
more
buy
time
more
you have.
in bulk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, really, that is the value in getting there maybe quicker with less bumps in the road, is lean on an expert to give you that recommendation about what are some of the products. And as a food scientist, I'm sure you have extensive knowledge in those direct elements, and you've seen it before through your experience as well.
And the other thing I could add to that is a founder can be uncomfortable with looking for an expert to help them. But this is the thing. This is the beauty of it. Like in Canada, we have the government that has the R&D credits. So if you plan it well in such a way that everything is documented, you can make your money back. Like I've worked with companies that were able to bring, like in 3 years, I think we got back R&D credits worth probably 400,000 just on R&D. So it's something that some founders, especially the mid-sized emerging ones, they don't know. But if you plan it well, so it's not going to go, you're not going to lose the money. It's not like money that you cannot gain back.
Right.
So if you find the right person to help you and to plan everything better, then you could get that money back when you file your taxes.
Wow.
It's something that really not so many, especially the emerging brands, know. But this is something that I want them to know because you can get your money back.
Wow. No, that's a really great point. Thank you for adding that and sharing. That's one of those, okay, we have resources, we can do this.
Right.
And if you go ask the right people, you can find out these types of things. That's a really good global point as well, and the idea that applies to anything. Go asking the right questions. You will find that there are opportunities to help scale and grow.
Absolutely.
In good ways. My goodness, I love that. So on that scaling note, I think there's maybe two things. What's realistic budget to launch, and how maybe long does it take to go to get your things on a shelf when you're trying to scale?
So the ideal time is usually a year.
Okay.
Like for you to get your product ready and
that's
everything.
good.
It's a year. But sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
Especially, let's say if you're manufacturing, if you have a manufacturing facility, it's easier because then you have the equipment and you have the facility and you have the budget.
Yeah.
But it really does depend because you do have like some businesses that would say, we put in like 50,000 and we're able to get the product out, depending on the product.
Yeah.
Depending on the process.
It can be an investment.
It can be an investment. And some people tell you, it took us $500,000 before we got out.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, it's hard to really put a price unless we look at the product holistically. A specific and see where you can get, because some people go pretty quick, like some 10,000 even.
Wow.
But some that's not the case, which means you need more budgetary, more capital. So it really does depend. It depends on the product.
Well, that's good. And so we are very glad to have experts to help that, because I think you being a food scientist or bringing in a food scientist, that's going to maybe help and expedite that process at times.
Absolutely. Like I would give an example of a food founder that I worked with. And so this was an interesting one because by the time they were launching this product, they just went to a retailer because they had like some other products. And this was, I think it was Sobeys, and Sobeys was ready to launch their product. So it's like, they know we give you a year to work on it. And they had like a grant to work on the product. So it was 8 months into working into the product and they had nothing. So now it's like, Sobeys is like, okay, we need a sample. Like we need to see how the product is going to look like the shelf. We need to be able to see the facing. They had the packaging and everything, but they didn't have the product. So by the time I met them, they were panicking. They're like, okay, what's gonna happen? I need this product. And so anyway, sat them down and said, don't worry, we can get this done.
Yep.
We have everything, we could get this done. And we're able to get the product out in 2 months. So it really, and they were able to get that. And recently they got into Whole Foods. So it's one of those.
That's amazing.
It's one of those, like, if you know what you're doing and you have the support, you can get your product out.
Perfect. That's wow. I'm impressed that you were able to do that, because it honestly does sound like a feat to do something that took a whole company 8 months and they were stagnating on it a little bit, and you jump in and 2 months later it's happening. It's very impressive. That's really interesting. It shows the level of knowledge, and that I think, I reflect as well on that entrepreneurial journey, it's always hard to ask for help.
Yes.
But when you do, good things happen.
Exactly.
I think every time I've never seen that it leads to like a real negative outcome when we're asking for help, other than somebody saying, "Oh, I don't want to help you."
Yeah.
Like that's
which is hard.
Which is
right?
fine. Yeah, this
It's
is
like,
fine. It's hard to take, but I'm glad you're here helping people. So thank you for that.
No, I enjoy it.
Perfect. I can tell. You're passionate about what you do. I think leading from that, there's an interesting thing here around what is the role of packaging in scaling that food product? Because this was where the founder was like leading with packaging. They were selling it with their packaging,
Right.
but they didn't have the thing to go inside the package.
Right.
And so how does that role get mixed up? And what do you think really, what is that role of scaling food
For the packaging.
for the packaging?
Yeah. So the packaging, it's like the shell. It's the shell that keeps your product. And this shell can do two things for you other than like the marketing and stuff that will, that's the first thing that a consumer sees. But in a product developer, food scientist part of it, it's more, it will protect your product from outside, anything coming from outside. So this could be humidity, it could be light,
Right.
and also keeping your product safe because you want people to be safe.
Yeah.
When they eat your product. You don't want anybody to be sick when you're eating your
Right.
product. So this is where it could come. Like the first thing I always tell anybody that I work with is you need to figure out what's the mode of failure for your product. And the mode of failure is like, what I mean is, let's say it's a cookie. I like to use a cookie as an example. If it's a cookie and you like your cookie, I don't know, how do you like your cookie? Do you like your cookie soft or crunchy?
Chewy.
Chewy?
Yeah.
Yes. So if that's the property that you're looking for this cookie, you like it soft. And if you like it soft, you want the packaging to be able to keep the cookie soft, right?
Yeah.
Because on the other side, Andrew here, no.
It's okay. Matt
J here is waiting for your product to be soft.
Right.
But if they find it hard, you're not going to buy that product again. So the packaging has to be able to keep that product soft,
Right.
the cookie soft. So this is where packaging is important because, like I said, mode of failure.
Yeah.
So depending on what that attribute is, it needs to be able to stay that way. Another thing could be, let's say the product is light. If a light hits it, it starts to disintegrate. Let's say there's whatever oil in there and the light will affect it. You need the packaging to be opaque so it doesn't light in. It needs to be darker. And the other thing is like breathability. If moisture comes in and starts to affect that product to be soft, and it can even support like microbial growth in this case, which safety comes in.
Right.
You don't want that.
Absolutely.
So this is where the packaging has to support whatever attributes you want your product, and that's what the consumer is waiting for your product. It has to be able to support that and keep the freshness long enough for when you receive it, it's still exactly that.
It's the product that they expected.
Exactly.
That I'm selling. That is incredible in the response because I honestly had no real consideration for the science behind the packaging. And I think that may be, maybe that's just me, but I come from a marketing background. So I honestly thought this answer was going to be about how we market things and how we, get it on the shelf. It's just so interesting to me, but that's so much more significant in terms of your brand.
Right.
Your actual output of the product and what it's like is so much more important than what it looked like. Yes, it got that initial touch, but they're not going to come back if the packaging didn't do its job right.
Right.
Which makes your job and the ability to design it so significant. And I just did not consider that role. So thank you for enlightening me on that one.
You're very welcome.
It's amazing. I think I want to ask one last question for founders who are doing food products, and that's what is the what allows something to, like that 8-month journey of little to no progress that you described? What is that challenge? What do founders underestimate that leads to sort of these delays? What are the things that you see tripping them up?
More the sourcing of the raw materials.
Sourcing.
Yeah, sourcing is a huge thing.
Supply chain,
supply chain, it's a huge thing. And especially when it comes to the point where, remember the ETS method that I talked about, and now you're testing your product?
Yep.
once you're getting to that point where you're testing your product, you need to be able to do like a plant trial, for example. And in that's when you realize, and I think, and then this is why I say it's important for you to do the plant trial, especially if you're going to a co-manufacturer, or even if it's like you're doing it in a commercial kitchen or in a small, if you're self-manufacturing, you need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's like a testing for everything. You test how quickly you're going to get all your raw materials, how quickly you're going to get all the packaging. So this is where you have to prepare and plan to be able to get everything. Like I've been in instances where, okay, we needed to do a plant trial and we thought we were going to have everything. You know, you talk to your suppliers and they say, okay, you're going to have this in 2 weeks. So then you plan your plant trial to be like in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then a week down the road, the supplier said, or manufacturer, says, I'm sorry, we had a lag. It's going to be 3 weeks. So it's one of those, and it's one of those, if you don't plan it, then you won't be able to know, okay, this supplier, this is how they roll, this is how they can get me things. And of course, you have to push them as much as you can, because some of them needs the push. If you don't push, they will not remember you. They will not remember your product, basically. So this is one of the things that really slows most of the things down, because it's a matter of planning the logistics. It's
okay. Wow.
It's planning the logistics,
Yeah. Actually running through the whole process end to end, experiencing it, feeling it, understanding what could happen, what might happen, what did happen.
Yep. Because then once you know, then you can plan it out.
Then you can prepare for it.
Exactly. Because the biggest issue is usually, and this is what mostly some founders that I've worked with, they do. It's like, okay, you wait until you have a retailer interested in your product. Then you start looking for a co-manufacturer, because you're looking for the opportunity first before you can go looking.
Right.
But this is why I say you have to be a proactive food founder. Like, let's be proactive. Let's look for the food manufacturer way in advance, such that when the opportunity comes knocking, hey, you know what? You're ready. You know where to go. Right. And that can like shorten things pretty quickly because you have already looked at it. And some of the things that you might not even realize could be a bottleneck, you could know ahead of time. Like, let's say the processing is not where you want it to be, because you can present this product and they're expecting to get this product. But what if the processing is not to the point
to the standard?
Exactly. You would need to do something. You'd need to improve it to be able to get that. And in some cases, you just produce and you're like, okay, the prototype is not exactly what I want it to be. And you start having issues, but communicate, you know? So this is why that part is like, let's be proactive. Let's do things way, even before we were ready. Because then we're going to be ready when we're ready. Like, isn't that the saying? It's like, when you're ready, get ready.
I like that saying. One that relates to me, that's a saying that I've been told in my life, or that I heard, was, you can make your own luck, and luck is just preparedness meets opportunity. So in this instance, you're lucky to have found that supplier. No, I had a manufacturing lined up, I built a product, and then, I was talking to a supplier and I told them about all of these things I'm doing, and they said, I'd be interested in having a conversation. And someone might say that's lucky. Someone might also say that I was prepared for it and I was making it happen. So you're telling people to make it happen. And I like that.
Exactly,
I like that. You have enlightened me already. I'm sure there's a lot of things that have been learned from others. I'm thinking differently about all the things that I'm going to go buy in the grocery store. So thank you for sharing all that with me. I'm going to look at the package and go, how come that one lets light in? I don't know why anymore. So like, thank you, because I really do have so many more questions. And that's based on talking to someone super knowledgeable, usually inspires that in me to make me curious and make me ask more questions. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I have one more question, which is, how did you get to be so knowledgeable in this? What is your background and how did you get here?
Very good question. Other than going to school for food science, but I started in I did biology and chemistry as my bachelor's. And then as I was doing my bachelor's, that's when I realized, I was talking to my advisor and I'm like, you know what? I do like food. I've always liked food, what can I do? Because the college that I went to, the university that I went to at the time, they didn't have like a food science or nutrition, but they did have a course in nutrition because they had like an athletic department.
Yeah.
So one of them was like nutrition. So I went. He said, you know what, just do that, because I didn't want to stop, because at that point I was so into my degree that I didn't want to stop and go somewhere else. And I'm like, well, my dad was paying for it too, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to mess this up.
I know that pressure.
So yeah, so then I went to the nutrition class and I did it, and this was a breeze for me. Like I struggled to get an A in immunology.
Right.
But in nutrition, I didn't even have to struggle. Like the A came easy, and I'm like, okay, this is it.
Hey.
This is it. So then when I started working, I finished my undergrad and I started working, and I went into a beverage plant. I went there to do quality assurance.
Yeah.
Went in there and then went and did my master's as I was doing the beverage plant. So that's when I discovered this is where I need to be. And things kind of even made it more like, for me, this is what I needed to do when my dad got diagnosed with diabetes. And I'm like, okay, this hit me hard, because I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to develop a food that is going to help my dad and people that are having trouble with the blood sugar. So as I was doing my master's, I developed a product that can help lower blood sugar. I was in Wisconsin at the time. So in Wisconsin, there's a lot of cranberries.
Okay.
And, once they squeeze out the juice, especially the seed, this was like the seed, once they squeeze out this juice and the oil, there's a lot of refuse that is left, like the pomace that is left.
Yeah.
So that's what I used in my thesis to develop a product, an extruded product. So extrusion, you put it in like high pressure and it comes out. The best example is like a Cheeto, the Cheeto types, but a healthier version of that. So this is what started this health better for you.
And those were like the fibers from the cranberry? Yeah. Wow.
It was but it also had, because cranberry is like red.
Yeah.
So the color that gives the cranberry, those are anthocyanins.
Yeah.
The anthocyanins, they can lower the blood sugar just by you taking cranberry, and also there's also the fiber in it too. So it has like a double whammy, I guess you could say, because then there's the anthocyanins and then there's the fiber too that will help you to lower.
Amazing. So I'm a diabetic, so I'm going to have to try your product. Honestly, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I should talk to you about what that is. If you want to say what it is, we can talk about it. Is it available or... It's in the US, but for sure there's like other products. Something like it?
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Some here.
So that's how you got here.
That's how I got,
a personal story, and you did the education, and then you tied it into certain things that meant something to you personally.
Exactly. That's how I got here. And the thing that even ties into why I work with emerging brands and food founders now is I've worked in facilities, and I was the food scientist in the facility. And like I said, they would come in and they don't have their product ready. So this is where I got pushed into, okay, I need to help them to get their product ready. So by the time they're going to a manufacturing facility, their product is ready to go. Like
perfect.
Shelf life, all the other stuff that they need to get. So, and I love healthy products.
Yeah.
So that's why I do what I do, because it keeps me. I want products. You know what? I say my mission in life is to get. The other day I was talking to a founder, and I'm like, you know what? I used to say I want to help like 100,000 food products to go out in. But now I'm like, why not 1 million? Like I want to be able to help out and say, you know what? Like all these products, they've been there because I came out and I said, I'm going to help you. So that's my mission, because I do have 2 boys and I want them to eat healthier.
Yeah.
I want them to put in their bodies products that are good for them. So that's the drive. That's like the ultimate drive for why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Family oriented, expert. My goodness. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I again learned so much, and I'm going to take that away, and I see it happening. You are going to, and the fact that you're so passionate about helping the founders get there, as well as supporting the world to eat healthier in a good way, I think you're unstoppable. You can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for the talk. You're very good at getting the things that need to get out. So thank you
Amazing.
for that.
Well, cheers to good health.
Yeah, to good health.